Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Kevin. Welcome back to my channel. And first things first, I appreciate all my coaches, my friends, family, all that kind of stuff, support me through that. Again, it was my first comp. So what am I going to talk about today? So I'm going to just review pretty much what my thought process was on comp day. Of course, like it was mainly about food, nutrition, but then after that, also about the lifts and what my kind of like thought process was going into it. All right, so we'll get into it and then pretty much end with like either am I gonna do bodybuilding or am I gonna do powerlifting? Okay, so I'll get into that in a second. But it's been about now making this video about 2 weeks since my comp, so I've had time to reflect, recover. I took about a week off, no training, just to kind of wind down and recover my CNS, which is always central nervous system, to kind of relax and recuperate. So now I'm back in training again, more in the bodybuilding phase for now. But again, whether I will decide to do powerlifting or bodybuilding, I will talk about that in a second. All right, but otherwise, so my day, again, my nutrition wise, I would say nice and simple. My routine doesn't really change as much. I would say it would be just mainly getting the carbs in. Again, I didn't have like a proper weight class. It was just 80 to 100 kilos. So I wasn't making any weight. It was more just having fun, but also like knowing what it feels like lifting. And learning the atmosphere. So I obviously had the meals. Honestly, my food doesn't change as much, honestly, because if I change it on the day, it can be a little bit of a shock to the system. So I've just had like nice oats, bit of protein, mainly carbs, because that's what the main energy source would be for, you know, powerlifting and lifting heavy weight. So that's super important. Obviously, I had to pack like a packed lunch. So some energy sources such as like Powerade, energy gels, just to keep me ticking over in between the comp. So how it works is there's going to be 3 lifts for squat, 3 lifts for bench, and then 3 lifts for deadlifts. For those that have been following a while, my favorite is the deadlift. Squat is like not my favorite, I would say. I'm always a favorite, but I'm not the best at. I'm good, but not the best at. And obviously bench is something I need to work on as well. And I think leading up to it, I had enough sleep. I would say, like, honestly, I only had 6 hours and a half. Usually get about 7 plus, but maybe nerves start to kick in. But then as I got to the venue, I mean, it was the atmosphere was great. I think the biggest thing was, I didn't know you had to do like a squat measurement, and also squat measurement for the height, and also the bench as well. So that was something new, but I guess that's normal for the people that have done that powerlifting. But for the first lift, let's talk about it. So I had to do my warm up, probably half an hour or so when it comes down to mobility, activation, and then I start to do my actual sets. So it's definitely, nothing really changes for me. Obviously just seeing where I can use the equipment, what space. So again, my music was just in the zone. Like for me, my music, I listen to R&B, hip hop. When it starts to be, when I start to get warm, then I start to go more rap and a little bit more upbeat, just to kind of get the heart rate going and just get in the zone. But my first lifts, I did 180 as my starting weight. I mean, I've done it before, for reps, but I think it was just to get something on the board, to just have that confidence to go like, all right, this is what it feels like. Listen for the calls. I think the biggest thing is listening for the calls. So with everyone cheering you on, hyping you on, we love that. But at the same time, sometimes we can forget what the calls are, and then if you miss the lift because of a call, then that's not ideal. I think nerves will always be a thing, but I think the excitement kind of pushed me through, which is good. But otherwise, I did 180. The interval between each lift was probably about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how many people there were. But the people there obviously were spot on with like the changeover, so it was fine. So my second lift was 195. So again, my actual PB for squat is actually 200. But even then, that was like not easy, but I could probably push for more. But I think my coach was more like, hey, let's just get numbers on board, stay injury free, and not go for any crazy PB. So it's more like a learning experience. Still challenge myself, of course, but nothing like crazy for the squat. Because again, one of those lifts where, if it doesn't work out, then you can fall forward, you can fall back, but it's too heavy. So I just did something that was reasonable. So thanks my coach for that. But otherwise, yeah, my third lift was 205. I thought I did well with that. Actually, that was like pretty challenging. I didn't expect it. I thought, you know what, I got this 205. I'm gonna like breeze through it. Actually, when I was squatting down, I was like, yeah, the weight felt quite heavy, so I was a bit wobbly. But then as I squatted cool on the way down, downward phase, as I started to come up, I actually felt like, my body was like, oh my God, this is actually heavy. Like for some reason, I think because I'm using a lot of energy and pushing myself, you know, energy with hyping yourself up. So it's kind of that balance between like not being so like crazy energized, but still like preserving the energy, I would say. But like I said, this is my first comp, so I was just trying to see what I know, what I've done. So otherwise I did it, but it was a bit like, well, if I go heavier, it would have been a challenge. I definitely could have, but it would have been like a grind. So I didn't get to that point, but I think that's okay. It's something I have to work on, of course. Next was a bench. Honestly, the bench is not my strongest, but at the same time, the weights that I was given from my coach was like quite easy, I would say. I did 110. I honestly do that for reps, but again, it was just more like to see what the atmosphere is like and give it the confidence to get at least the calls correctly. So I did 110. Next one I did 117 and a half, and I did 122 and a half. Yes, I did 122 and a half. I think I could, like, my PB is actually 125, pause. 1 week later, I speak to my coach, powerlifting coach, and decide, like, you know what, do I want to do bodybuilding or powerlifting? So the thing with this one is, again, it was just more comp thing, and I think I need to save a little bit more in the tank. Moving on to my deadlifts. Okay, this is where the nerves kick in, because this is like my thing. It's just, I feel like it's like when you know you've done something a while, you put more emphasis, you train for a lot, there's a bit more like pressure, you could say, or there's expectation to go, hey, you've got this and this should be easy, but is it? We don't know. Like, it's just like, because that's like your bread and butter kind of thing. But warm-ups were great, they move really smoothly, but then I think I start to get fatigued and tired. I don't know why. I think that's where maybe the fatigue energy levels start to kick in. My opening weight was 250, moved quite easy, but honestly, like, everyone was like hyping me up, doing 250, and I've done that before, but it was not like the best. If you look at it back in the previous year, it looks very quick, but it wasn't like efficient. So I basically, there's a difference between like yanking it up, like but then after that, or just taking your time and actually being patient with the lift. So obviously engaging your core and then push your feet into the ground. I feel like I went too quick and tried to lock out too early. So therefore, I actually felt my calves were cramping for some reason. I think because I fell forward too much and wanted to get it up quickly. So that was something I had to fix in the next one. So then my second lift was 270. Again, bear in mind, I didn't pick these weights. These were like what I've done with my coach again. So I did 270 and then obviously took my rest. And this is where I was a bit nervous now. I'm not gonna lie. I was a bit more nervous because like, this is what I do. I do my little like ritual routine. I mean, I don't believe in that, but I think it just gets me in that zone with everything going on, people hyping you up, saying your name, atmosphere. The MC lady was like, you know, let's do it, whatever. And then you just, honestly, everything's just blocked out. I'm just gonna do me, do what I normally do for training, nothing changes. And then just believe in your lift. That's the main thing. So I did my setup and then I'm like 270. And this would be my PB. In comp, obviously it's my first comp, but in no wraps, no wrist wraps or wrist straps. A lot easier, sounds weird, but it was hard, but because I took my time with it and felt the muscles contract and properly, and then I start to push into the ground. So it's more like a better technical lift rather than just yanking it up. Is different because otherwise your core's not tight and whatnot. So yeah, then 280. I spoke to my coach ages ago and like, she told me like maybe a month ago from that comp, she said, this will be a breeze. Like, no, I think you can do 280 quite easily. I'm like, I couldn't get that around my head. So whether I do it or not, I just thought to myself, just give your best, know what you do, recover well, perform, and then let's do it. So then I'm like, all right, let's do 280. And I knew what the weight was, but it was more like, literally as I was stepping to the bar, I realized like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be so hard. Like, it's hard. Of course, like it's heavy, but I've lifted weight where it's like, wow, it's an absolute grind, and I haven't felt that in ages. So going to 80 is just like out of my zone. But then again, I just do it. So I actually had some water beforehand, right before a lift, and I had a bit of water stuck in my throat, like kind of like my you could say, because I just swallowed it, and obviously that's where the water was. I was about to vomit basically. So literally, as I'm stepping into the bar, no one can see, I paused for a second, longer than normal, just because I'm like, oh my God, like I have like this water in my stomach thing. So I had to swallow again, take a second, and then brace. And oh my gosh, it was like, it popped off quite quickly, but then I couldn't get the lockout. Or I did, but it was more like I had to like wriggle around. I don't know if that's allowed in the comps, so I'm not sure, I'm not the judge, but they counted it because it was a bit more lenient. But still, something I have to work on, the kind of knee extension and my quads kind of thing, and strength. So that's something I need to work on, but I did it. Super hyped, super excited. I can't believe I did 280. Again, was nervous as ball, but you just kind of believe that you lift and you just do it, you know? Take action even when things are tough. So yeah, that's that. It was exciting, super. The atmosphere was amazing. Ended up getting the highest lift out of all the people that were there, which is great. Look, I wasn't looking to win or anything. It was just me doing my goals and focus on my journey. So that means I can just continue what I'm going to do. So both has pros and cons, but I think it really depends on the lifestyle that you want to live. So I broke it down. So if I were to do bodybuilding, it's more of a nutrition type thing. So this could help you guys if you were thinking to do like bodybuilding or powerlifting. I think with bodybuilding, again, more nutrition side of things, lots of sacrifice. It is a selfish sport. For those that are doing it, you can definitely understand that. Probably just, you know, the lifestyle and training consistently and being like strict, but you know, getting the ultimate stick. I think what we found out was you will look amazing at the end of it, but the process will be quite like being tested like, you know, the human body basically, and lots of battles mentally for sure. But with what I do, if I did powerlifting, I think right now, well, at the time when I was lifting, I was 87. So basically if I were to compete, it'll be like either moving up in weight or dropping my weight to like probably 82, 83. So I decide, like, look, if I were to cut weight, I mean, I think I would be a lot leaner and kind of have a higher weight score kind of thing, total, you could say. If I were to do 83, I think 82, 83 kilo weight class. But the problem with that is because I'm dropping weight, I'm eating less. So therefore, if I do lifts, it'll be a bit more challenging to kind of eat carbs while trying to lose weight. But that's the energy source, so it's a bit more challenging. So I had to decide, do I want to do bodybuilding or powerlifting? And my answer to that is, I've decided, you know what, the bodybuilding will be a bit, you know, of too much out of a stretch with my lifestyle, because obviously I coach my clients right now, you know, based around like physique, but also lifestyle and whatnot. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to do powerlifting. So I'm just going to save for another video, but I will be planning and prepping for 2023 in terms of like powerlifting, actual doing it in the comp, because I think I've got the potential. So, and I will be moving weight class to 93. So my goal is to eventually just go, let's grow, and I'm going to share my journey doing that for you guys. Grow, get lean, but at the same time, like, be actual strong and actually see the definition. So at the end of the day, I want to look good, but also at the same time lift heavy. I don't want to be like big and not be strong. So right now we are in like a phase where we want to build for probably another next 3-4 months, and then we start to do like more like specializing in terms of like lifting heavier, and then that's it. So I think that's pretty much where my head's at in terms of what I'm gonna do. I think it's gonna be really nice because I get to enjoy more food. Not like I'm eating crap, but I can have more flexibility with that rather than bodybuilding. Again, I'm not saying bodybuilding is bad or anything. Like I said, it is sacrifice. It is a sport in itself, so a lot of sacrifices involved. But yeah, I think I want to do that, and obviously, you know, lift heavy as hell. So hopefully I think it's gonna be, again, a new experience, but then we're gonna prep for that next year. But otherwise, I still want to be uploading stuff on my lifts. I will have some like kind of comps throughout the year, but not like the actual federation or anything. I mean, I'm not sure about that just yet. I've got to do more research, but more content on my lifestyle and what I do. But otherwise, that is pretty much it. hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. That would be muchly appreciated if you want to see more, so I can see that you enjoy the content. I mean, this is a bit longer than expected, but otherwise, thanks for joining. See you in the next one, and peace.